Hello, and welcome to the 500 Workshop. Today we're going to be adjusting the headlights on our Fiat 500F. So hopefully you'd already seen the video of me installing the headlight. Here is a headlight, so we're just going to recap this. This is a right-hand drive headlight. Left-hand drive ones fit exactly the same way on the cars. So it doesn't matter whether you've got a right-hand drive or left-hand drive car. The headlights fit exactly the same right-hand drive or left-hand drive in both of those types of cars. Now, the little tab fits in a small hole within the light well. And then these two bolts, you don't take them out of the headlight. That's a mistake I made originally. You don't take them out of the headlight. They stay within the headlight. And the actual kind of heads of these bolts goes through two holes and pokes through. We'll show you again on the car. And then this spring kind of keeps the headlight in place, which is between the tab and that's what kind of keeps the headlight in place. Not the most robust thing in the world, but that's how it works. And what we need to do in order to get the light shining in the right place is adjust these two bolts, basically. So you wind one in, one out, and that adjusts the both the kind of up and down movement and left to right movement. Now, in order to set our headlights at the correct level, what we need to do is refer to a manual, and I have one here. This is a shop manual. There is some information in the Haynes manual, but other manuals seem to be a bit vague about this, so find yourself a manual that has the information or follow this video. So here we can see the car. And there's a car, there's C, which is the distance between the floor and the headlight. And then on a wall, this is 5 meters. The car needs to be 5 meters from the wall that you're using or whatever you are using. And then we've got some bits here. So there's a capital B. Now, the capital B depends on whether it's a new vehicle or a seated vehicle. If it's a new vehicle, so all the suspension is absolutely fresh on it, then you're looking at 40 millimeters between the floor and the line here. And I'll show you this a bit more close up in a minute. If it's a settled car, if it's nicely seated, then it's 35 millimeters between the bottom and the line here. And then you've got A, which is the distance between the small A lines here. So you've got a small A and a small A. And the distance between those two lines is 830 millimeters. And obviously the car will be centered between those. So that's what you're aiming to do. And I'll just show you close up the details there, so you've got it. And we are going to refer to the Haynes manual for just one moment, because what we are trying to do is get the headlights to aim on this where the small A and small B line intersect. So it says here P, so you're trying to get it to aim there with the beam angling or coming up within those two lines there. So that would be headlight 1, this would be headlight 2, again on that AB line. Because this is a right-hand drive, the lights want to be shining kind of this way. With a left-hand drive, you'd be looking to shine them that way. Now, we're not doing this in a proper workshop, okay? And I really need to caveat this. The fact that we're not doing it in a proper workshop, we are trying to do it in a garage in a DIY kind of fashion. So we're going to get it okay and as good as it probably needs to be, bearing in mind probably none of you drive your cars really in massive night conditions, especially with the standard bulbs, because they're just like candles. So this will get it good, probably good enough, pretty accurate, hopefully in some cases, but it might not get it as a good as a service workshop might, with absolute perfect conditions and correct tools. So the other challenge I've got here is that this is best done in a very dark setting, at dusk or night time, with maybe a head torch or something, so you can see what you're doing within the car. But we're trying to do this in daylight conditions, and that's so I can actually film it, and so that you can actually see what I'm doing. So again, not perfect conditions, not the perfect setup, but what we're going to try and do is the best job we can with those conditions. If you're really unsure and don't want to do this yourself, that's fine. Take it to a service workshop, as I mentioned. But for those who do want to have a go at home, hopefully this will give you an indication of how to do it. So here in the back of the garage, we've got a piece of ply that I had left over, and what we've done is mark it out as per the book. So we have a line A here and a line A here. And they're the small A's. And then the gap, the big A gap between the two small A's, is 830 millimeters or 83 centimeters. So that's the gap there. We then have our B line, and I've drawn two on here. If you remember, for the new car where you got new suspension, the height from the base, the floor, to the B line was 40 millimeters, and for a settled car or a seated car, the height is 35 centimeters. So that gives us our datum points. We then have, what we're trying to do is get it, these 2 points here, really I should have marked them out, or here, depending on whether we're going for the lower or upper, and we're actually going for the lower because this is a seated car. This has been on the road for quite a while. We're actually going for the lower, so we're looking for the headlight to kind of project round about here and round about here. And because it's right-hand drive, we want the shine to go more towards the left of this board, because that's where the kind of curb side would be. You don't want to blind oncoming traffic. So that's what we've got. What we then need to do is work out 5 meters from this board to the front of the car. Now, in my workshop, I've got a nice level floor. So if the car could fit in the within the kind of workshop, and that would be 5 meters, then it would be good and level. Unfortunately, it's not quite that simple. So I've got a drive that kind of starts to slope down. So what I need to do is make sure that, whilst I believe from doing this from experience, the front of the car just sits within inside the workshop, so that's nice and level, but the back is slightly lower. So I need to make an adjustment for that. So I need to kind of jack the car up from the back so that we get a nice level car shining at the board, and hopefully then allowing us to make the adjustments we need to. Okay, so we've got our tape measure measuring 5 meters. We've got it running perpendicular to the workshop wall and runs straight down the center. What I need to do now is to get that car positioned in the correct place. And that's going to take a bit of moving in and out, and the light needs to be exactly at the 5 meter mark. Then I need to level up the car. One thing I forgot to mention as well is that we need the tyre pressure at the right pressure. So check the manual, can't remember what it is offhand, but I know I did this very recently, so the tyre pressure should be fine. But before you do the job, make sure you get the right tyre pressure, otherwise it will make the adjustments not correct. So I've got the car where it needs to be now. I've moved it in and out so that it's in a good position. Unfortunately, I didn't record that element. Also, I've jacked up the car using the jack at the back to get it level, using datum points that I took when it was level in the garage. So now that's nice and level, and then now we need to place the board in the right position. Now, again, using some datum lines, we've got the board in the correct position. So now we should be able to try and see where the lights shine. So here we have the car. Tried to make it as dark as possible in here by hanging the sheets. The headlights are on, and if we look at the board, we can see very little at the moment. Basically, the light is nowhere near where it needs to be, so we can't see the markings on the board at all. We have to keep the engine running to make sure the lights are bright, because it's got a dynamo, and if we don't have the engine running, they're just going to be really, really low. So we need to, and this is the other problem as well, getting in the way of what we're doing here. But it looks like one light is shining over here somewhere at the moment, and one light is shining up here somewhere at the moment. So yeah, we've got quite a bit of adjustment to do. Okay, so I just turned off the engine for a moment, and I'm here with a head cam on. I'm looking at the left-hand light as we look at the car. I put a cover over the right-hand one, so that it doesn't interfere. And what we're looking to do is turn this and this in and out. So obviously, if you unscrew this one, it's going to push the light up. If you screw it back in, it's going to push the light down. This one is going to act more as a side to side, I believe. So it gives it a bit of vertical. It could be the other way around. We'll check as we go. And I've got here a 8mm ratchet, which we're just going to put on the ends of these and tighten them and untighten them as we see fit. So going to restart the engine, turn the lights back on, and then make some adjustments. So we've got a cover over one of the lights, and you can see that the single light is shining a lot more bright, and it's shining above kind of where the big central A is, very much up there at the moment. So we need to first of all try and drop it down and then move it over. I think that's a much better result on the first headlight. We've taken it from round about here, we've dropped it down to around about that B line, just in and around the bottom of that B line, and it's pointing slightly more to the left than to the right. Again, like I said, not perfect, but we're working with more difficult conditions, but certainly I'm not going to blind anyone on the road, and hopefully I can see where I'm going. I actually took out the electrics of the back of the other light rather than putting a cloth over it to make sure there's no light coming through. And that's what I'm going to do the same on the other side as well. So what we're going to do is unplug the light that we've been working on, plug back in the other light, and then work on adjusting that. Okay, now we can see the second light is miles over to the left, so we need to bring it back this way to the AB cross section. It doesn't look too bad a height actually, but we'll see as it comes in whereabouts it is. Certainly it's a lot lower than where we started with the first one. So I was mistaken before. This one does the vertical and this one does the horizontal. Same on the other side. The top one does the vertical and the bottom one does the horizontal. So this one's a bit more difficult to tell because of the fact that we haven't got like a board that goes right out. But again, we've lowered the beam down to around about the AB line, and more of the beam kind of goes out to the left than it does to the right. I think I've adjusted it as much as I want to now. So let's have a look what it looks like with both lights on. And I think you can see collectively there, got quite a nice beam running across. Good level, both around the same kind of height. So that's pretty good, and I think that's a good job. I think we've done pretty much all we can there.